Over the past year, immigration enforcement has operated with a tactical intensity that pushed the federal system to its breaking point. But behind the masks and the high-stakes arrests, the administration is losing its key architects. Just yesterday, the Department of Homeland Security confirmed the official leading this charge is stepping down. To understand the mechanisms behind these headlines, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're digging into the data to show you how these policies actually work. This is Todd Lyons. For the last 14 months, he has been the senior official performing the duties of the director at U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Lyons' tenure was defined by a specific corporate philosophy. At a Border Security Expo in 2025, he explicitly compared mass deportation to global logistics, stating he wanted the agency to function like Amazon Prime, tracking and removing human beings within a 24-hour window. But you cannot optimize a human population the way you optimize a supply chain. Applying a ruthless corporate delivery model to federal law enforcement didn't create efficiency. It triggered a systemic collapse that bypassed constitutional protections, cost civilian lives, and eventually broke the leadership of the agency itself. Under the $75 billion One Big Beautiful Act, ICE launched the Detention Reengineering Initiative to scale up capacity at unprecedented speeds. To accommodate tens of thousands of new detainees, standard commercial warehouses were retrofitted into high-density human holding centers, modeled after global distribution hubs. Managing a network of this size required a massive surge in personnel. In less than a year, ICE hired roughly 12,000 new agents as the delivery drivers for this operation. To meet that massive hiring goal, the agency had to move fast. They lowered their standards, accelerated their training, and pushed unprepared recruits straight into the field. However, despite the massive increase in beds and agents, the data shows a strange anomaly. The number of detained individuals with prior criminal convictions actually went down, even as total arrests reached new highs. Prioritizing warehouse capacity over targeted investigations turns a federal law enforcement agency into a blind collection machine, sweeping up individuals simply to fill space. This move toward indiscriminate arrests was driven by top-down pressure. Senior White House advisor Stephen Miller reportedly called ICE leadership every morning, demanding they hit insanely high daily arrest targets. The Fourth Amendment was the primary hurdle to these corporate-style quotas. It strictly requires a judicial warrant, signed by a judge, before federal agents can enter a private residence to make an arrest. To clear that hurdle, a secret memo created a legal shortcut. Agents could enter homes using administrative warrants signed by ICE supervisors instead of judges. Removing the judge eliminated legal friction, allowing the agency to breach homes based solely on internal sign-offs. When corporate quotas are forced upon federal law enforcement, the U.S. Constitution is no longer a boundary. It's treated as red tape to be cut. The cost of this speed-first strategy became a public health emergency. In Minneapolis, federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, in separate incidents within the same month. Inside the detention warehouses, the federal system was failing at a similar massive scale. By early 2026, 16 people had died in ICE custody, a pace of 1 death every 6 days. The strain eventually reached Todd Lyons himself. Over a 7-month period, he was hospitalized twice for stress-related issues, with his bodyguards forced to bring a portable defibrillator to his side during operations. The machinery of mass deportation physically and structurally broke down under the impossible pressure of its own artificial quotas. Lyons' departure leaves ICE with a massive leadership void and rock-bottom morale. Congress is currently battling over reconciliation rules just to fund the agency, which has been partially shuttered for months. But the administration is already pivoting. They are moving away from the loud, high-profile Amazon Prime raids that triggered nationwide protests and legal battles. Instead, the agency is shifting toward a quieter strategy, denying work permits, blocking access to housing, and letting detention conditions deteriorate. The administration is betting that making life unlivable will spark enough fear to force what they call self-deportation. Treating immigration enforcement like a corporate logistics network doesn't create order. It leaves a trail of human tragedy and shatters the federal institutions meant to protect the public.